You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world, you have no idea. So I want to tell you that we'll never surrender. We never will. Ever.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It's Christmas time, so how about a Christmas miracle? Is Joe Rogan becoming a Christian? Is he about to convert to Christianity? Well, there are a lot of good signs here. Joe Rogan is obviously one of the people that young men listen to the very most, and young men are leading a religious resurgence throughout the country. A search for truth. Institutions that have failed them, obviously, while everything else is crumbling around them, faith in institutions, faith in politics, faith in the federal government. This leads to a resurgence in things that have stood the test of time, like Christendom, also Catholics in mass. Pandemic's internet lacks alternatives. Young people are converting to Catholicism. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful story, but shows how young people are finding the church, finding tradition, finding orthodoxy. Big W. I see, as a society, you need this to have a functional society. Joe Rogan may be one of those people. We've long speculated that Joe Rogan was Christian curious. This was one of the more famous clips of Joe Rogan saying that people just need Jesus. Sort of took us out of the blue. Here we go.
But I think as time rolls on, people are going to understand the need to have some sort of divine structure to things, some sort of belief in the sanctity of love and of truth. And a lot of that comes from religion. A lot of people's moral compass and the guidelines that they've used to follow to live a just and righteous life has come from religion. And unfortunately, a lot of very intelligent people, they dismiss all of the positive aspects of religion because they think that the stories are mere superstitious fairy tales, that, you know, they have no place in this modern world, and, you know, we're inherently good and your ethics are based on your old moral compass and we all have one. And that's not necessarily true. We need Jesus. I think, for real. Like, if he came back now, it'd be great. Like, Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back
right now,
now's a good time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah.
Now's a good time.
You can see the authenticity there. Joe Rogan just kind of speaking from the heart. He even catches himself and laughs. But he's not laughing anymore. Here in a long-form podcast, Joe Rogan talks about becoming a Christian, potentially. The scriptures, to me, is what's interesting. The Christian scriptures. It's fascinating. Christianity, it works. The people that are Christians, they go to church, and they're the nicest effing people you will ever meet. It works, says Joe Rogan. Wow. This is from a podcast with Jesse Michaels, The Truth About Aliens. He finally says it. Joe Rogan, you can check in on the full 3-hour podcast here on the channel. It's got 1.6 million views. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
The scripture, to me, is what's interesting. It's fascinating. That is what, and also that Christianity, at least, is the only thing I have experience with. It works. Like, the people that are Christians, that go to this church that I go to, that I meet, that are Christian, they are the nicest fucking people you will ever meet. They're really kind, and they are even more nice at a church. When you leave the church parking lot, everybody lets you go in front of them.
Aww.
There's no one honking in the church parking lot. It works.
Very popular clip in my feed. Joe Rogan, just in time for Christmas, opening up about his journey potentially to Christianity. This is something that has been happening in slow motion in front of us for a while now. Joe Rogan starts going to church as faith resurgence gains momentum, Christian apologist claims. This is Wesley Huff, who has been on Joe Rogan's program before, and says that if there is a faith-driven change in his life, he's going to church. Huff made this claim on a separate podcast, but he's evangelized to Joe Rogan. Huff said that he's very encouraged by the ongoing conversations with Rogan. He's a very inquisitive individual. I think for the better, that he's communicating with me and other people about his life who are influencers that can speak to him. These are the issues of relatability and trustworthiness. Something like the pages of Scripture. He points out that Joe Rogan is now attending a church. That's awesome. Data backs the trend. According to a new study, American Bible Society, there's been a rise in Bible users from 38% to 41%. Notable gains among young people and young men. Millennials saw a 29% increase in Bible use from 2024 to 2025. Well, again, very, very positive results there for Christendom. Something right in time for the holidays. I thought this section of Wesley Huff and Joe Rogan's 3-hour-long interview from Joe Rogan's show really hit. Again, you can see the guy is like legitimately searching something that Joe Rogan is really the best in the space for, honest and good faith inquisition. Here's Wesley Huff and Joe Rogan talking about how Christianity changes your life for the better. Here you go.
One of the things that I've gotten out of I've probably watched probably 20 hours of your stuff over the last couple of weeks, and you've spent a lot of time on this. This is not a casual, cursory examination of these texts and of religion. This is a long journey. And that's what's particularly exceptional and really interesting to me, because I'm always fascinated by people that have really gone down the road, like really gone down the road, because you don't meet a whole lot of them. You know, I know a lot of Christians that can quote you some versions of the New Testament, some Psalms, but the go all the way to the back, way, and that's what you've done. That's very interesting. So changes the course of human history. This thing changes the direction, the ideology that these people subscribe to, and the moral and ethical structure that they live their life by. It changes untold billions of human beings from that point on.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
That in itself, even if this is just a revelation without a divine interaction, that's a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that it was created at all. Like the whole idea that Christianity, when you're saying that the book of, was it the book of Isaiah?
Yeah.
That the same book is exactly the same as, like, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
If you just imagine the sheer number of illiterate people, the sheer number of days that have to go by where people are telling the story exactly the same, and that it's entrusted in the hands of these very few people that are so dedicated to it that they get the exact words right 1,000 years later, pretty bananas.
Well, I mean, that is kind of the crazy thing about Christianity, where you have this Jewish itinerant guy who's walking around first century Roman occupied Judea. He's making some pretty audacious claims to be God himself, and then he predicts his own death and resurrection. And then his disciples they think it's over. Like, they're like, he's dead, we're done.
Yeah.
And then they go from 11, scared men, because Judas commits suicide, scared men in an upper room, to completely overhauling the Roman world in only a couple hundred years, because of this claim that they say they saw Jesus resurrected. Like, there's something different that goes on there, that they're like, this is a miracle, right? Dead people don't usually rise from the dead.